The soul's great hardship in the beyond. BD number 5767. September 11, 1953. Souls which lack light suffer incredibly great hardship in the beyond. To describe this condition to you humans on earth would be truly sufficient to drive you to live your own life differently, but that would be the end of your freedom of will. Driven by fear of the same destiny, you would inevitably make an effort to behave differently, thus indeed comply with what is expected of you but not of your own accord, motivated by free will. Yet you shall know about the soul's fate, it shall be imparted to you, and then it is still up to you to believe it and to draw your own conclusions from it. On entering the kingdom of the beyond, these souls have lost everything they loved on earth. They own nothing, for they can only take across what they had spiritually acquired, and this is what they are mainly lacking. Since they lived a godless way of life, they are engulfed by utter darkness and are totally powerless, yet they are not insensitive, for their environment causes them torment and terror, and these torments and terrors will also be experienced by a soul which had fearlessly and powerfully implemented on earth what had subsequently plunged it into darkness. These indescribable sufferings will then either awaken the soul's desire to escape this condition or increase its evil instincts so that it will also look for satisfaction in this realm, which means that it will completely submit itself to the forces of darkness. Yet even the souls which had not left their earthly life in such sinfulness, but whose life had been devoid of love and indifferent towards all spiritual notions, are in a very difficult situation, for they, too, are extremely tormented by darkness, although this will, from time to time, give way to twilight if the soul is not yet entirely hardened, so that it will ask for light, for only the desire will enable the soul to attain the light. But all souls are lacking the strength to want what is right. And according to the law of eternity they cannot be given help if they don't desire it themselves. God's act of compassion is certainly not over once the soul has left the earthly body, but what it failed to use on earth, even though it had owned it in abundance, it first has to acquire in the beyond, and it is too weak to do so. Just always imagine them as extremely weakened, helpless beings which suffer indescribably and depend on help in order to be released from their suffering. You would be overcome by pity for these beings if you were able to see their hardship. And you all know souls in the beyond of whom you don't know in what state they entered the spiritual kingdom. You all have lost people through death who have been close to you. At least remember the souls who have been dear to you and help them, for even the smallest work of redemption on these souls will result in further redemptions, and you will have contributed much towards it. You can only help them through loving thoughts and prayers, through intercession on behalf of these souls which, admittedly, will not release them from their torment, but it will give them strength on account of which the soul will be able to change its will and strive towards the light. It cannot be released from its painful situation against its will, but in order to want what is right it needs your intercession, a prayer given with love, as soon as it enters your thoughts. For you should know that the soul is asking for your help as soon as it enters your thoughts, that you are constantly surrounded by souls hoping for your help, and that you should not resentfully suppress thoughts of the deceased if you don't want to add to their agony. The fate of these souls remains hidden from you so as not to impair your free will. You and the deceased souls occupy two worlds which are separated by a dividing line. You cannot look into their world and yet it exists, and you are able to send much love from your world into theirs, the effect of which expresses itself in a way and to an extent that countless souls will be able to escape their situation. Often remember these poor souls and don't ignore them in their adversity, for you will be richly rewarded for what you do for them out of merciful love, inasmuch as that you will receive spiritual help on earth from all souls which have come out of darkness into the light. Amen.